You ever get that, like, I don't know, that feeling, when you're in a disagreement and it's like not just in your head, but you feel it like
Yeah.
right here,
Absolutely.
like a physical thing.
In your chest? Yeah.
Yeah, like your throat tightens up or your hands. I clench my fists. It's weird.
It's a physiological response.
Yeah.
Adrenaline, cortisol, all those lovely stress hormones flooding your system.
It is. It's primal, right?
It is. It's fight or flight kicking in.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this because I had this client proposal and they just like tore it apart.
Ooh.
And that instant, like, grr, I want to fight back,
Of course, it's natural to want to defend your work, your ideas.
But what if, and this is what we're diving into today,
Yeah.
what if instead of that, like, fight, we could actually get these people, even the really tough ones, to cooperate?
It's a powerful shift in mindset, and it can be really effective.
Right. And and this is what's so cool, there are actual, like, tactics to do this. It's not just like, be a better person, kumbaya.
Right. It's practical. There are methods, techniques you can learn and apply.
And I got to tell you, I spent years, like, I was terrible at this. I was either, like, ramming my head against the wall or I was the total pushover.
Oh, I know those types.
Yeah, the bulldozer in the doormat.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. This is the price. Take it or leave it.
Right.
Lost a huge client that way, $10,000, poof, gone.
Ouch.
Or I'd be like, sure, I'll work all weekend for free, no problem. And then they'd ghost me.
Oh, I've been there. It's frustrating, and it can really erode your confidence.
It does. I literally had this mini breakdown in a Starbucks bathroom after a freelance negotiation. Just like, why am I so bad at this?
So many people can relate to that feeling of helplessness.
And then I found this book. It's called Getting Past No by this guy, William Ury. He's from Harvard,
Oh, yeah. Ury's a legend in the negotiation world.
And it was like, seriously, life-changing. He's got these tactics, and they actually work. Like in real life, not just some, textbook example. He's all about bridging the gap between theory and practice and providing actionable strategies.
So that's our mission today, right? To dig into the juicy stuff from Ury and show you, like, how to use it when things get messy.
When the stakes are high, emotions are running hot, that's when you need these tools the most.
Okay, so why do we suck at arguing? Ury and my own, like, crash course in failing is that our brains, they kind of sabotage us.
They do. We get trapped in what he calls the win-lose mentality.
It's like if they win, I lose, and vice versa.
Zero-sum game. It's a very limited view.
So in the beginning, like I said, I was either the bull or the doormat.
Yeah, two sides of the same coin, really.
Yeah, and what Ury showed me was that there's this, like, third way. You don't have to bulldoze or be a doormat.
There's a space for collaboration where both parties can find a solution that meets their needs.
It's like that story with the camels, which we'll get into. You kind of got to, like, bring in an unexpected element.
Thinking outside the box, looking for the 18th camel, as Ury would say.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? He lays out this awesome framework, and I think about it like a 5-step plan for cooperation.
Sounds good. Let's break it down.
First step, the balcony moment.
Ah, yes. Taking that mental step back.
You got to create a time out before you react.
Detaching emotionally is key to gaining perspective.
So picture this. I'm presenting this marketing plan to a CEO, right? And her whole team's there. And she just, like, shreds it.
Oh, that's rough. I can feel the heat from here.
My face was on fire. All I wanted to do was, like, yell back or just bolt out of the room.
It's a natural instinct when you feel attacked to fight back or flee.
But I didn't. I was like, hold on. Excuse me for one moment. I need to get some water.
That physical break is crucial. It interrupts that immediate impulsive reaction.
And it gave me a chance to, like, calm down.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking, oh, she's so wrong or my plan's amazing,
Right. You're not caught up in the ego battle.
I forced myself to think, okay, what's my goal here? What am I really trying to achieve?
That's a great question to ask yourself in any conflict.
And it wasn't to win the argument, right? It was to keep this client and the contract.
Smart. You're focusing on the long game.
So then I was like, why is she being such a jerk?
Trying to understand her perspective.
And then it hit me. She was under so much pressure from her investors.
So it wasn't about you at all.
No, it was her own fear.
The fear of failure, fear of not meeting expectations.
Exactly. So when I went back in, I didn't get defensive,
Okay.
I said, you're right, that timeline is super aggressive, especially with all the investor stuff you're dealing with.
You acknowledged her reality.
Let's rebuild it together with their concerns in mind.
Brilliant. You turned it into a collaborative effort.
We kept the contract, and she actually apologized for being, a bit harsh.
Wow. That's a great example of how stepping back and shifting your perspective can completely change the outcome.
So, takeaway for you guys. First, when things get heated, take a physical break. Get some water. Say you need a minute to think.
Even just a few deep breaths can help regulate your nervous system.
And then mental detachment. Don't get lost in your own feelings. Figure out what's driving them.
What's their fear is a powerful question to ask yourself.
All right, step 2. This was a little maybe surprising. Empathy as a weapon.
Ah, yes. This is counterintuitive for a lot of people.
We think empathy is like weakness, right?
It's often seen as being soft, giving in.
But it's not. It's like super powerful.
There's about understanding, not agreeing.
So I had this thing with my brother. Our mom had these medical bills.
Okay.
And I was like, we got to split this. And he just refused.
Just flat out no.
Yeah, and I was so angry. I was like, you're being selfish, you know?
Right, because that's going to get him on board.
Total disaster.
The escalation.
But then, Ury again, step to their side first.
Meet them where they are.
So next time I talked to him, I said, look, I totally get it. You guys are saving for the baby. This is probably a really bad time.
You validated his concerns.
Yeah. And he was like, yeah, but mom needs help. And we actually figured out a way to share the cost.
See, empathy opened the door to a solution.
And here's a couple scripts. Steal these, write them down. You're right about X. Let's figure out the rest. That acknowledges their point.
It shows you're listening. You're not just dismissing them.
And this one's like magic. Help me understand your no.
Yeah.
Works on kids, works on CEOs.
It invites them to explain their reasoning, to share their perspective.
Okay, step 3, the reframe. This is where you take a no way and turn it into a how.
Love this one. It's about shifting the perspective, looking for creative solutions.
I remember asking my boss for a raise, and it was an instant, budget's frozen.
Classic shutdown.
Right. But instead of just giving up, I was like, okay, I get the budget thing. What if we tied a raise to the ROI of this project I'm leading?
Interesting. You're reframing it as an investment, not just an expense.
If we hit these targets, could we revisit my compensation then?
You're giving them a way to say yes without breaking their own rules.
We actually made this performance-based raise agreement. It wasn't a yes right then, but it was a path forward.
That's a win in itself.
So, 2 reframe tactics for you. Ask for advice. How would you solve this?
People love to feel like experts.
And use what if we to suggest experimenting.
It opens up the conversation to possibilities.
Okay, step 4. Building a golden bridge.
Ah, yes. Making it easy for them to say yes.
You're not forcing them, you're making it appealing.
Paving the way, removing obstacles.
I had this apartment, right? Mold everywhere. And the landlord is like, nope, not my problem.
Landlords, am I right?
I was so tempted to threaten to sue, get all legal.
Which rarely ends well.
But I thought golden bridge. So I said, what if we split the cost of getting this mold professionally taken care of? You get rid of a potential bigger issue, and you can probably charge higher rent later.
You're appealing to their self-interest.
You agreed. We split the cost.
See? Golden Bridge worked.
Here's the secrets. Co-create solutions. How can we adjust this to work for you?
Make them feel like they're part of the process.
And let them take credit, even if it's your idea.
That's a great point. Your suggestion makes this possible.
Stroke that ego a little.
All right, last step, the reality check. This is when you've tried everything else.
It's not a threat. It's about highlighting the consequence.
Exactly, not a threat. I had this client wouldn't pay their invoices, way overdue.
It's the worst.
I wanted to send this, furious email, but I was like, okay, reality check. I said, what happens if these delays impact your product launch?
You're connecting the dots for them.
Silence, and then we'll process half the payment today.
It worked.
Here are some phrases. How will this impact your goal? I'd hate for bad thing to happen. Let's avoid that. Calm, factual, focused on the potential outcomes.
Okay, story time. This brought it all together for me. The parable of the camels.
Oh, a classic. I love this one.
So this father dies, leaves his 3 sons, 17 camels.
17. That's an oddly specific number.
Right. The will says, eldest son gets half, middle son gets a third, youngest son gets a ninth.
Well, that's not going to divide evenly.
Nope. They're fighting, can't figure it out.
Sounds like a family gathering.
Then this wise old dude shows up on his camel.
Of course he does.
He's like, hey, let's add my camel to the mix, make it 18. Now it's easy. Eldest gets half, 9 camels. Middle son gets a third, 6 camels. Youngest son a ninth, 2 camels.
9 plus 6 plus 2, that's 17.
The wise guy takes back his camel, problem solved.
The 18th camel changed everything.
I had my own 18th camel moment. Client wanted a 50% discount, huge project.
Whoa.
I was ready to walk. Then I was like, wait, what's the 18th camel here? I was so stuck on the price, I wasn't thinking about anything else.
You got tunnel vision?
So I said, okay, how about a slightly smaller scope of work at your budget? They took it, and it actually led to more work later.
Brilliant. You found a creative solution that met everyone's needs.
When you hit a wall, don't just push harder. What's the 18th camel? What's that unexpected thing that can unlock the solution?
That's the question right there.
So you guys, action plan. Before a tough convo, write down your goal, their fears, and your BATNA.
Your best alternative to a negotiated agreement.
Knowing your walkaway point is huge.
It gives you confidence and helps you avoid making concessions you'll regret.
Practice those balcony breaks. Even in emails, just say, give me a few minutes and step away.
Anything to disrupt that immediate emotional reaction.
And script out 3 empathy phrases.
I see where you're coming from, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Have them ready.
Like tools in your negotiation toolkit?
Negotiation isn't about winning. It's about crafting an outcome where everyone feels good.
A win-win, not a win-lose.
It's finding the 18th camel together. So next time you're butting heads, take a breath. Where's the 18th camel?
It's amazing how that simple question can shift your entire approach.
All right, now it's your turn, listeners. What's your toughest negotiation story? And how would you handle it differently now?
Let us know. We'd love to hear your insights.
And P.S., if you're in the middle of a battle right now and need help, DM me. Seriously, I've been there, sweaty palms and all.
We're here to help.
Let's find your 18th camel together.
Absolutely.
And want more. Ury's book, Getting Past No, his TED Talk, The Walk from No to Yes. Life-changing stuff.
Cannot recommend them enough.
All right, until next time, keep those camels coming.
And remember, there's always a solution.
There is?
You just have to find it.